The world of professional tennis is a battlefield of power, speed, and mental fortitude. Every match, every point, every swing of the racket can change a player's destiny. For Alexandra Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, her historic Wimbledon run had already captured the hearts of millions. She had beaten the legendary Serena Williams. She had dethroned the defending champion Iga Swiatek. She had reached the fourth round, becoming the first Filipino in the Open era to achieve such a feat. She had surged to a career-high ranking of world number 28. She had earned over $1.28 million in prize money. She had become a national hero, a symbol of hope, and an inspiration to millions. But now, she faces her toughest challenge yet. Standing across the net from her at the Mubadala DC Open is a player who represents everything she has worked so hard to overcome. A player who once defeated her on the biggest stage in Asia. A player who has won Olympic gold and reached the finals of a Grand Slam. Qinwen Zheng, the Olympic champion from China, is her first-round opponent. This is not just a match, it is a test of everything Eala has achieved and everything she hopes to become. Can she shock the tennis world once again and prove that she is ready to compete with the very best? This is the story of the match that could define her career. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell. To understand the magnitude of this challenge, we must first understand the player standing across the net. Qinwen Zheng is not just any opponent, she is a former world number 4, an Olympic gold medalist, and a player who has reached the final of the Australian Open. The 23-year-old Chinese star burst onto the scene in 2024, winning the gold medal at the Paris Olympics on the clay courts of Roland Garros, becoming the first Asian player in history to win an Olympic singles gold. She followed that with a runner-up finish at the WTA finals, cementing her status as one of the most dangerous players on tour. Zheng's game is built on power and aggression. She possesses a devastating serve that can regularly clock above 180 km/h and a forehand that can dictate play from the first shot. As an aggressive baseliner, she has the ability to overwhelm opponents with sheer force. However, the Zheng that Eala will face at the DC Open is not the same player who dominated the tour in 2024. Since undergoing arthroscopic right elbow surgery in July 2025, Zheng has been on a difficult journey back to the top. She made a premature return, aggravating the injury and causing her to miss the 2026 Australian Open. Her ranking has plummeted to world number 123, a far cry from her career high of number 4. Despite her struggles, Zheng remains a dangerous opponent. She has received a wildcard entry into the DC Open and is looking to turn her season around. She showed signs of life with a quarterfinal run at the Athens Open leading up to Washington. Zheng is a player who, even at her most vulnerable, poses a significant threat to any opponent. The key question is whether she can find the form that made her one of the best players in the world. This match is not just about rankings or current form, it is about history. For Alex Eala, this is a chance for redemption. For Zheng, it is a chance to reassert her dominance. The two have met once before, in a match that has haunted Eala for nearly 3 years. At the 2023 Asian Games in Hangzhou, Eala, then just 18 years old, faced Zheng in the semifinals. The match was a battle of attrition, but in the end, Zheng emerged victorious in 3 sets, 6-1, 6-7, 5, 6-3. Zheng went on to win the gold medal, while Eala settled for a bronze. The loss was a painful lesson for the young Filipina. It was a reminder of the level she needed to reach to compete with the best players in Asia and the world. But in many ways, that defeat became a turning point in her career. It fueled her determination to improve, to work harder, and to one day get her revenge. Now, nearly 3 years later, Eala has the opportunity to settle the score on the WTA Tour for the first time. She is a different player now. She is more powerful, more confident, and more experienced. She has already beaten the best in the world on the biggest stages. This is her chance to prove that she has surpassed the player who once stood in her way. The match between Eala and Zheng is a fascinating study in contrasts, a clash of two players on wildly different trajectories. On one side, you have Alex Eala, whose star is rising faster than perhaps any other player on the WTA Tour. She enters the DC Open ranked world No. 29, a career high, fresh off a historic Wimbledon campaign that saw her reach the fourth round, defeating the defending champion Iga Swiatek and the legendary Serena Williams along the way. She has won 12 of her last 16 matches on grass and carries a confidence that is infectious. She is the embodiment of momentum. On the other side, you have Qinwen Zheng, whose star has dimmed due to injury. The 23-year-old Chinese star has struggled to find her rhythm since undergoing elbow surgery. She has dropped out of the top 100 and has a record of just 11 wins and 11 losses this year. She has suffered first-round exits at both the French Open and Wimbledon. Zheng's power game, which was once her greatest asset, has been compromised by her injury. She has been forced to dial back her first serve speed, and her first serve win percentage has dropped significantly. She is no longer the dominant force she once was. However, to dismiss Zheng would be a mistake. She is a player of immense quality and is due for a resurgence. She has looked better in her recent outings, including a quarter-final finish in Athens. Zheng is a competitor who has always risen to the occasion. She knows that Eala is a formidable opponent, and she will be determined to show the world that she is not finished. The clash is not just about who is playing better, it is about who wants it more. The contrast between the two players is stark, and the match will be decided by which version of these players shows up on the court. Eala has already proven that she can beat the best players in the world. She has beaten Grand Slam champions. She has overcome the pressure of center court. But Zheng presents a unique challenge. To pull off a victory, Eala must execute a specific game plan. First and foremost, she must stay aggressive. Eala's aggressive baseline game is her greatest weapon. She needs to dictate play from the first shot, using her powerful forehand and her ability to use angles to push Zheng behind the baseline. This is especially crucial against Zheng, whose power has been diminished by her injury. Eala needs to make Zheng feel the pressure and force her to try to overhit. Second, Eala needs to exploit Zheng's movement. Zheng is known for her explosive movement, but her elbow injury may have affected her confidence in her ability to fully commit to her shots. By moving her around the court, Eala can expose any lingering doubts. Third, Eala must serve smartly. She needs to get a high percentage of first serves in and use her left-handed serve to create angles and keep Zheng off balance. Fourth, Eala's mental fortitude will be key. She has already proven that she can handle pressure, but Zheng is a player who has been in her shoes. Zheng has achieved more, but Eala has the momentum. She needs to believe in herself and trust the work she has put in. Finally, Eala must control the pace of the match. Zheng thrives on rhythm. By mixing up her shots, using slices and drop shots, Eala can disrupt Zheng's timing and keep her out of her comfort zone. The key for Eala is to play her game, not Zheng's. She has the game to win. The question is whether she has the discipline to execute her plan and the belief to see it through. The tennis world is paying close attention to this matchup, and the opinions are divided. Some analysts believe that Eala, with her momentum and Zheng's current struggles, has a real chance to win. They point to Zheng's recent losses, the drop in her first serve percentage, and her overall 11-11 record this year. Others, however, caution against underestimating Zheng, citing her Olympic champion pedigree and her experience of performing on the biggest stages. As one fan noted, Zheng's looked much better coming into DC after a solid start to her hardcourt swing in Athens. The general sentiment is that this is a match that is too close to call. Filipino fans, in particular, are eager to see Eala settle the score. They remember her loss to Zheng at the Asian Games and want to see their hero get her revenge. The support for Eala has been overwhelming, and she will have the backing of a passionate crowd in Washington. The expectations are high, but Eala has always thrived under pressure. Regardless of the outcome, this match will be a significant moment in Eala's career. It is a test of her readiness for the top tier of the sport. Can she shock Qinwen Zheng and prove she's ready to compete with the very best, or will this be the match where her incredible run comes to an end? The answer will be revealed on the courts of Washington, D.C. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell.